Today's story: The Rule Book of Apples and Art. Lucy often found herself yearning for a clear and unequivocal set of rules in life. Something as straightforward and unambiguous as the instructions on a frozen pizza box or the precise steps outlined by a chemistry teacher before a lab experiment. Yet, even those guidelines seemed somewhat lacking for her. She craved a level of clarity that surpassed the everyday mundane tasks, like preparing an apple. In her mind, an apple was the epitome of simplicity and clarity. It was a symbol of certainty in an uncertain world. Lucy envisioned the process. First, you take the apple, perhaps with its shiny red or green skin, and give it a good wash. This step represented the cleansing, the preparation for what lay ahead. Then, you'd cut the apple, but here, even the simplicity could turn a bit complicated. Should it be into 4 pieces for a quick snack? No, that didn't seem precise enough. Perhaps 6 pieces, for a balance of portion size and convenience? No, that still didn't satisfy her desire for absolute precision. 8 pieces. Yes, that was it. 8 equal segments, each as perfectly formed as the last. In her contemplation of this apple slicing ritual, Lucy yearned for a world where life's complexities could be dissected with the same level of clarity. She longed for a set of life rules as precise as the process of slicing an apple into those 8, neatly uniform pieces. But as she would soon discover, life had a way of defying such neat categorization, and its challenges were not so easily sliced and sorted. Ugh! Lucy scowled. Because ugh, indeed? She found herself staring at a painting with no definite meaning, no direct answer, no set of rules that she could find. All she saw was apples. All she saw was a blob. Life was meant to be a flight of stairs, not an emptied water well with no way out, or no way deeper. Take this for instance, school trips. As far as Lucy could remember, school trips were led by a teacher. Patrolled by parents, whom for whatever reason wanted to string along, and the leading teacher was meant to give precise instructions to the students. Her teacher, Ms. Madden, did her job. The only mark she missed was not explaining what to do the minute you lay your eyes on an artwork. I just don't. Lucy mumbled to herself, arms crossed as she tapped her foot impatiently. Her eyes narrowed. What in the name of I don't even know is this? Lucy's tranquil moment was shattered by an unexpected, firm grip on her right shoulder, causing her heart to leap in her chest. Her initial shock almost led to a startled scream, but as she turned, her gaze locked with the most vibrant pair of blue eyes she had ever encountered. It was none other than Debbie, whose full name was Deborah. Debbie, with her golden locks that cascaded in a cascade of tight, bouncy curls, was a sight to behold. Her hair seemed to catch the sunlight, illuminating the room with its radiance. But it wasn't just her hair that made her memorable. It was the multitude of freckles that adorned her face, like a sprinkling of stardust, and her penchant for talking a mile a minute. In that electrifying moment, it was as if time stood still. The encounter was like a collision of worlds, as if fate had orchestrated this very meeting. Debbie stood before her, exuding an aura of vivacity and charm. Her blue eyes sparkled with excitement, mirroring the effervescent personality that she was known for. Debbie had a way of filling any space she entered with her infectious energy, and in that moment, Lucy couldn't help but be drawn into her world, captivated by the essence of Debbie in all her glory. It was a meeting that would change the course of their lives, setting in motion a series of events that neither of them could have predicted. Lucy barely knew Debbie, but what she did know was when Debbie started to speak, Debbie wouldn't stop. Did you see that really weird modern-esque sculpture on the 3rd floor? It reminds me of my sister when she's constipated. Lucy blinked. Oh, she replied, swallowing. Oh, because what else was she supposed to say to that? Was this a trend? Was there actually something specific that she had to say back? Goodness, was she going to be the laughingstock of her high school just because she wasn't into trends? Oh Lord. Right? So like I told Ms. Madden about it, but she honestly did not look very pleased. Oh wow, it's apples. It's apples. Lucy gulped. They were both observing the large painting in front of them, consisting of a basket of apples sitting on a wooden table. They're nice and juicy apples. Oh God, Lucy coughed. You know, honestly. Debbie leaned in closer to the painting, her eyes narrowing as she examined it intently. I vibe with this painting. Like I get it. It's like apples. And the background is dark and ominous, so that obviously means that apples are bad for you, and that dentists are liars. Lucy couldn't help but raise an eyebrow, her curiosity piqued. She was always amused by Debbie's unique interpretations of art. I don't think. Then think, Debbie interrupted with an air of playful insistence. She gently placed her hands on the sides of Lucy's head, as if trying to channel her own artistic vision into her friend. Come on, I know you can see it. Despite her best efforts, Lucy struggled to see the connection between the dark, brooding background and the innocent apples in the painting. She shook her head, a faint smile on her lips. I really can't. She heard Debbie emit a dramatic sigh. Darn, you can't see it. Don't worry, I'll try to predict the meaning again. Alright. Okay. So, I believe it's a birthday gift for the artist's pet horse. Lucy couldn't help but chuckle at Debbie's whimsical interpretation. This was just another one of those moments that highlighted the stark contrast between their perspectives on life and art. In a world of vivid imagination and colorful ideas, Debbie was the artist, and Lucy, the appreciative observer, content to let her friend's creative spirit guide their conversations. Lucy swallowed. However, this isn't any ordinary pet horse. The pet horse is actually half human, and is actually the artist's lover. That's not what the blurb. Lucy tried to say. Wait, no, I'm completely off track. Let me start again. Okay. So the artist's pet wasn't a horse, but a dog. I'm sensing a golden retriever. Oh yeah? That's definitely right, because if you look closer you can see the reflection of a golden retriever on the shine of the apples. Wait, no, that's just me. I just miss my dog. There's a blurb, Lucy blurted, crossing her arms tighter. To be completely honest, Lucy didn't know which step came first. Do you read the blurb, or do you analyze the painting? It was all just a mess. Debbie chuckled. Well, of course there's a blurb. But where's the fun in that? You gotta be creative, Lucy. You gotta think outside the box. Lucy avoided Debbie's intense gaze. It's just apples. It's just about the artist's nostalgic past growing apple trees in her parents' farm. Like honestly, it's so... Wait, I can't hear you, you're mumbling. Debbie noted. It's just apples, Lucy stated, slightly louder this time. Apples. Well, that was obvious, Debbie pointed out. Then why did you ask? Why are you here? Can you just leave me alone? Let me stare at these apples in peace. Lucy muttered under her breath, quiet enough so that Debbie couldn't hear her. My God, just have a look at the apples and leave. Is it that hard? Golly gee! Debbie exclaimed, startling Lucy. She was staring at her phone. It really is just about apples. Lucy took a second to process Debbie's words, before looking down at her crossed arms. Yeah, she breathed out, clenching her stomach. Yeah, because all she could say was yeah. Debbie clicked her tongue. Honestly, I think that it should have been oranges. Apples are kind of boring, don't you think? They're just red or green or whatever, and they don't even have an exact shape. Oranges are like circles. Ovals. Wait, no, spheres. I don't know either. Lucy almost muttered, her voice barely rising above a whisper. Her fingers clenched the fabric of her shirt, and she could feel her nails digging into her palm through the fabric. This conversation was spiraling aimlessly, like a ship lost at sea with no guiding star. In fact, it didn't feel like a conversation at all. It was more of a one-sided monologue, and it seemed that Debbie didn't mind that one bit. Lucy couldn't help but wonder if she should take this as a blessing. After all, here she was, sitting quietly, while someone else did all the talking. She was doing her job as the listener, offering a sympathetic ear and a non-judgmental presence. In some ways, it felt like a respite, a temporary escape from the weight of her own thoughts and concerns. As she gazed at Debbie, who continued to share her offbeat theories about the enigmatic painting, Lucy found herself drifting into a contemplative state. In this moment of passive listening, she realized that being a good friend sometimes meant embracing the role of the silent observer, allowing others to express themselves freely and passionately. Even if she didn't always understand or agree with their perspective. That was always her job, wasn't it? The listener. The non-initiator. In this case, she was the apple and Debbie was the knife. Alright, that sounded violent and misplaced, but so was Lucy's sanity. Anyway, wanna come eat with me and my friends for lunch? You should, Debbie asked, giving Lucy a light smile. Lucy didn't find it in herself to smile back. To others, Debbie would be a beacon of light, a bundle of hope. A kind acquaintance. A friend. A friend. Only if it were that simple, however. Lucy began, licking her lips nervously. Her bottom lip stung. Well, are you? She caught sight of Ms. Madden standing past Debbie's shoulder. Her arms were crossed and she had her eyes glued to her phone. Normal, right? Nothing out of the ordinary. Then there it was. That flicker of time, that split-second moment where Ms. Madden's eyes trailed over to Debbie. And for another split second, she was looking at Lucy. She felt a pull in her chest all the way down to her stomach. Her cheeks felt hot, her head stung, and her throat felt all clogged up. Lucy cleared her throat, squeezing her eyes shut for a moment. Thanks for asking, but it's alright. Debbie looked surprised. Oh, are you sure? Yes, of course I'm sure. Of course you asked that because you feel obligated to, and you know what? I'm sorry, you're mumbling again. Debbie chuckled, sounding somewhat awkward. I'm fine, it's fine, I'm fine. Lucy blurted. I don't want to intrude on anything because it's your friends, and they don't really know me. Well, you could always be introduced, Debbie said. Yeah. Lucy squeezed her shirt tighter. Yeah, you know what? I know you feel obligated and all. And Ms. Madden told you to do this, and it's honestly really uncalled for, Anne. Wait, Debbie interrupted, her eyebrows pulled together in confusion. Ms. Madden didn't ask me to. No, Deborah, I don't know if I'm even qualified to call you Debbie, it's alright. I get it. You're like a good student, everyone likes you, and you just feel obligated to not leave anyone out. But for me specifically, it's fine, It's just fine. Debbie blinked at her. Wait, Lucy. Her stomach tightened. Oh God, please don't feel offended by what I'm saying. I mean what I say in the nicest way possible. I just want you to feel convenient and comfortable, and to know that there's no need to do this. Lucy, I don't feel ashamed or offended or upset. I just know that. I know how this works. I know how it all works. I don't know how it works. I know that I'm the student who needs to be hand-fed. Oh my God, what am I saying? But Deborah, I don't need it. I don't need it, Lucy said. I don't need it, because what she actually needed was too much for Debbie, too much for anyone. Debbie stared at her, eyes wide and mouth slightly agape. And Lucy, as selfish as she was, couldn't find it in herself to stare back. To look her in the eyes. To face her opponent. Her friend. Acquaintance. Ugh. Okay, Debbie scoffed. Alright. Sorry for asking. Lucy's chest twisted itself into a licorice roll. No, you don't need to apologize. I'm just gonna go. Debbie gave her a smile, a wavering smile, before turning around and pacing away. Lucy stood there, rooted to her spot. She didn't move, couldn't move. What step should she make? Which direction? Surely not the same one Debbie just took. God, oh God, why isn't there a rulebook? What were you supposed to do first in situations like this? Lucy looked down at her shoes. Slowly, she turned her head towards the painting. The apples. Debbie had been the one holding the knife. Lucy, as always, was the apple. But now, she was the one holding the knife. And she probably cut the apple all wrong too. If you've listened until now, make sure you like and subscribe, so you'll know when the next story comes around.